Hi, my name is Sue Utterback. I'm a volunteer at the Quilt Museum in Harrisonburg. Lately, I've been going to classrooms and doing some lessons about quilts. Well, I haven't been able to get to the classrooms because the classrooms are closed because of the COVID-19. So what I'd like to do is I have a few books that I'd like to read to you that you can get to through the internet. The first one that I have here is one that I've read in a few classes. It's more of a book which is meant for young children. It's called Who's Under Grandma's Quilt? Now the words are going to be backwards there. Grandma's quilt, soft, cuddly quilt, swayed on the clothesline. Up, up, Grandma's quilt drifted. Down, down, Grandma's quilt floated. Up the quilt drifted. Suddenly, the breeze snatched Grandma's quilt so high the clothespins popped. Down, down the quilt floated and landed on the soft, grassy ground. Then the quilt moved. A bump and a lump that thumped giggled under Grandma's quilt. Baby Chick darted from the farmyard. Who's under there? He peeped. The bump spoke in a sweet little voice. Can you lift the quilt and get me out? You better not, oinks Curly-tailed Piglet, racing from the barn. That's Grandma's quilt. You better not bother it. If you do, I will tell Grandma. Go tell Grandma, peeped Baby Chick. I want to help, but he could not lift the quilt by himself. Baby Chick peeped to the quilt. Follow me. I will find someone to lift the quilt. And the quilt, with a bump and a lump that thumped, followed Baby Chick's peeps. Are you talking to someone under Grandma's quilt? Meowed Long-Whiskered Kitten, playing in her basket on the porch. I'm talking to a bump, peeped Baby Chick. And me too, announced the lump that thumped in another little voice. Baby Chick peeped to his Long-Whiskered Kitten. Can you lift the quilt? You better not, oinked Curly-tailed Piglet. If you do, I'm going to tell Grandma. Well, go tell Grandma, replied Long-Whiskered Kitten as she tried to lift the quilt. The quilt, however, was too heavy. Follow me, he said. So the quilt, with a bump and a lump that thumped, followed the voices of Long-Whiskered Kitten and Baby Chick to find help. Who's under Grandma's quilt? Asked Floppy-eared Puppy with his tiny bark. Baby Chick peeped. We don't know. Can you lift Grandma's quilt so we can find out? We should help, meowed Long-Whiskered Kitten. You better not bother Grandma's quilt, oinked Curly-tailed Pig. If you do, I will tell Grandma. I wonder who's under that quilt. Floppy-eared Puppy shook his ears. We can't lift it by ourselves. Follow me. So the quilt, with a bump and a lump that thumped, followed the voices of Floppy-eared Puppy, Long-Whiskered Kitten, and Baby Chick. Who are you talking to under Grandma's quilt? Honked a wiggly-necked goose. Can you lift Grandma's quilt so we can find out? Peeped Baby Chick. We should help, meowed Long-Whiskered Kitten. We can't lift it by ourselves, said Floppy-eared Puppy. If you bother Grandma's quilt, I will tell Grandma, oinked Curly-tailed Pig. I rather doubt that I can lift it, and you are all just too little, honked Wiggly-necked Goose. Follow me. I have a solution. So the quilt, with a bump and a lump that thumped, followed the voices of Wiggly Goose Neck, Goose, Floppy-eared Puppy, Long-Whiskered Kitten, and Baby Chick. They found Prancing Pony under a big oak tree. Who's under Grandma's quilt? He neighed. Baby Chick peeped as loud as he could. Can you lift Grandma's quilt so we can find out? We should help, meowed Long-Whiskered Kitten. We can't lift it by ourselves, said Floppy-eared Puppy. We are just too little, honked Wiggly-necked Goose. You better not, oinked Curly-tailed Piglet. You should not bother Grandma's quilt. Prancing Pony neighed to Curly-tailed Piglet. Don't be silly. Grandma would want us to help. Now everyone grab a corner and lift. Up, up sailed the quilt. Look who's under it. Out jumped a bump and a lump that thumped. It's Grandma's girl, merrily shouted the bump, and it's Grandma's boy, squeaked the lump that thumped. Once again, Grandma's quilt landed on the soft, grassy ground. Then the quilt moved. A very oinky voice shouted, "Can you get me out of here?" Uh-oh, peep, meow, bark, honked, neighed, and shouted the others. "We better not bother Grandma's quilt," sang Grandma's girl, pretending to leave. "We better tell Grandma." So Grandma's girl led the parade around the quilt as they pretended to leave. "Wait," oinked the voice from under the quilt. Don't you want to help who's under Grandma's quilt now?"